Well, hello everybody, welcome to Robert's Train Set. So I think the first thing I should say is if you're expecting this to be a running session, I'm sorry, I'm going to disappoint you. But I do have a reason for doing this first. And as you can probably see, I've got a box in front of me. So I'll explain this. But first of all, it's just coming up to 3 in the afternoon, and this is on the 9th of August. I'm filming this. And as you can see, I've got my mug that I bought when I went up to York Railway Museum. So as you can see, I've got a parcel. So I let my little credit card come out of my wallet yesterday, and I've already got the parcel. And I sometimes, just to preempt some of my viewers who come on and say, oh, you know, don't spend more than you can afford and all this. I don't. I absolutely do not spend more than I can afford. It's not worth putting yourself in debt on a hobby, is it? Let's face it. And I do keep quite a tight rein on my finances, so I know, you know, how much I can spend without getting into trouble. And I can assure you that this doesn't even scratch the surface, okay? So, I went on Wales to Sheffield. Well, I went on Hattons first of all, and I had my mind set on a particular locomotive, which is going to be in here. And I also started off, rather than getting the locomotive, which is in here, I wanted some more rolling stock. So what I'll do now is I'll unwrap the box, and I won't do it on camera, and you don't want to see me unwrapping everything, you know, there's loads. And if I tell you that this loco is probably came out around about, I think, Christmas or around about there, you know, it's 8 months away, isn't it? And there are a load of things, and when I get the box out and show you what it is, I'll explain my thoughts about it, I think. So I'm going to turn the camera off and I'll get everything out of the box. Now, unlike when I normally do it, which is I get everything out and put it all in a pile and take a photo of it, I'm not going to do it this time. I'm going to start with the cheapest thing in this box and finish with the most expensive. So I'm sorry, you're going to have to go around a bit longer, all right? Everybody, welcome back. It hasn't been very long for you, has it? I've now got everything out of that box. What I must say is, Wales and Sheffield really wrapped that up well. Look at this superior bubble wrap. It's really, it's sort of tinted and yeah, nice bubbles, and they give a lot of protection. So, and there were a lot of it in the box. There wasn't a rattle or anything out the box, which is good. So I'm going to put that over there somewhere. So here's the first thing, and I bought this lot from Wales and Sheffield, didn't I? So I've been having trouble with one of my points on the railway, and it's very, very, very unreliable, and it is a Hornby point motor, which, you know, most of them have been working great, but what they seem to do is sometimes eventually they wear, I think, and they jam, so when they go in they don't come out. If you pull it out and then try and change it, it'll go back in but it won't come back out. So as I was on rails, I thought I'd try their new point motors. So I bought 2 of them, and I'm going to try these. Now, I'm obviously using point motors for digital, aren't I? And it's not particularly clear. You know, they sell these, which are just the normal point motor, but then they sell, in inverted commas, a digital one with the little pack. You know, the electronics to control it. Now, I don't think I need that, because that is basically the same as a Hornby point motor, and if I connect that into the same connections that the Hornby point motor goes to, it should work. I will go up eventually and try it with a battery, just to see that it does actually click the same as a Hornby does. So I'm going to try those and see what they go. Now, I bought 2 because the one that's playing up is the crossover right near to where you come into the loft, and it's quite inconvenient that that doesn't work, because it's surprising how often you want to click across it. Not so much with the the running on the actual route, but when I want to sort of send it from one place to another and do an instant route, it usually tries to go across there and it doesn't change. So that's what I'm going to try. So that was those. And they're, I think, actually cheaper than a Hornby point motor. So I'm hoping they'll work really well. So we'll see how we go with that. And you get all these little screws because it's quite adjustable apparently. So looking good. So I'm now going to turn it off again and I'm going to get the next lot on the table and finish my tea off. So here's the next lot. So if you count them up, I've got 15 of these little boxes. And at the front here, I've got some of my existing rolling stock. And I've got the little Hornby open wagons, which are very nice. I've got also a Daypole open wagon with the included coal load, which are very nice, albeit a little bit light maybe. I've got weights in those. And the other two bits I've got here, or rather three bits, as you can see, they're closed wagons. Now, I've got a lot of these, as you know. I bought a whole lot of these for about 50 quid, and I've got about 15 of those. So they make up a reasonable train, but obviously they're all exactly the same. I've got one other bigger wagon, which is this rail throw, which is okay. And I've got two of these Northeastern little covered wagons, which I believe are Hornby. So what I wanted was some normal wagons. Now I couldn't actually find any really normal wagons, so what mostly is here are banana wagons. So I'll go away and unwrap the three that are different, shall I say, okay? But the other four are all the same as the one. So everyone, I'm crouching a bit here so you can see. So these are the three boxes that are separate, that are different. And as I said, there were 4 of each extra, so to make 5. So in all, I've got 15 wagons. So I'm going to now move the camera and we'll have a closer look at these. With the other 12 lined up on my blanket box, as you can see there. This is the first one I'm going to show you. Let it focus. There we are. So you can see it's a 5 banana van, just a plain one. Let's have a look at it. So as you can see, it's quite detailed actually. I'm quite pleased with it. I think a lot of the Daypole rolling stock is very detailed, and all of these were under £10 except for 2, and they were only slightly over, I think. So I think it's good value. Now I could have got other wagons from Hornby and Bachmann, but you know, Bachmann want 3 times the price of this, and I'm just not honestly prepared to pay that sort of money. You know, it's a square box with obviously quite a nice bit of detailing on it, but yeah, come on. So let's have a look at another. This is going to surprise you, I believe, or my regulars it will. So I've got a banana van, a Geist, and it's weathered. Oh dear. And here it is. So again, you know, that's probably what they probably would have looked like most of their lives. And the one you've just seen is, you know, as it came out of the factory, it was nice and clean and lovely. But this is how they ended up, isn't it? It's very light weathering, isn't it? It's, you know, I mean, there's not an awful load of difference between this one and this one. It just looks a bit cleaner, doesn't it? So, yeah, it's not heavy weathering, I wouldn't have said. But, get it into focus again, Robert. Yeah, so quite pleased with that. So we've got one more. So this is a Fife's yellow banana van, and as you can see again, it's weathered. I'll show you it. And as you can see, it's not a van you'd need to put your sunglasses on to have a look at, would you? It's just toned down a bit, and actually, in reality, it's not as bright as it's showing on this camera. This camera's sort of bringing out a bit more of the yellow that's there, but when you actually look at it, it's more an orangey colour, I would say. Well, to my eyes anyway. So I'll turn it around the end. Yes, that is definitely yellower on the camera than it is in reality. But I quite like that actually, it's quite nice. So why did I buy weathered ones? Simple really, they didn't have anything else. And I did really want some, and I've gone on and I thought, right, I'm going to get some. And I don't think these look too bad. So, you know, I've got 15 of these, I can spread them around, I can put some of the red ones in that you've seen, and some of my others, and get a good rake really. I could have 2 rakes of about 18 wagons, which, you know, is really too long to be controlled by the computer. Right, so for the last thing in the box, here it is. Wrapped up in bubble wrap, that everything else was as well. Really, really well wrapped up. I can't fault Wales of Sheffield's packaging. There was even a bit of damage to the box, the outside box. And it doesn't seem to have affected any of this so far. Might you haven't unwrapped this yet. So let's get this cellophane off and we'll see what was in all the bubble wrap. It was this. So as you can see, it's a Daypole steam locomotive. And I'll show you the end of the box. Hope you can see that. So I've not bought the 61 XX, I bought the 51 XX. And as you saw, 5190, and it's all the ones I've seen on reviews have been either the GWR green or the BR green. So I thought I'd get the black, lime black, with the big British rail across the tenders. So we'll get it out and have a look. She is. And as you can see, I think it's quite a nice, stunning model. The actual look at it, and I've had just a quick look round, it looks absolutely superb, as everybody has said. And in the instructions, which are very comprehensive, every manufacturer should do this. They at least are trying to compete with Hornby on the amount of information, and my particular one is 5190, as you can see, I would imagine. And apparently this was 1934 this was built. So interestingly, there was a 61, in fact there were a few 61 XXs built before this one. So quite interestingly, and the difference between, if you don't know the difference apparently between the 51s and the 61s, externally, visually they were exactly identical. It was just higher boiler pressures and so forth in the 61s. So I don't think it really matters on a model railway, does it? So I'm just going to get in a bit closer. So as I said, I'm not going to do an unboxing and do all that. I'll let you admire the model, and I have got my movie light on the camera on to give it a little bit more light. And you might be thinking to yourselves, I've bought myself a heap of trouble here. I have watched Sam's Trains, as well as Jennifer Kirk, on their particular variations of these. And it looks as though Sam's Trains had a lot of trouble with theirs, stopping on the points. Whereas Jenny Kirk's one seemed to sail around her layout without any problems whatsoever. So, is it a fault in occasional ones or whatever? I have seen quite a few other videos where they are having the problem with it stalling on the points. And am I concerned? Well, until I run this, I obviously won't know if this one will do the same. But what I have found today on YouTube is a video by a model shop which purports to stop the problem happening. And apparently what's causing it is the ponytail at the back is a spring in there which helps it spring up and down. But the travel in the where the axles locate is not deep enough. So when it goes over a point, it hits on the throat of the point and lifts up the back wheel. And because the front wheel is in the frog of the point, this is probably more to do with, you know, insular frog points, and more likely maybe on curve points, but it does stop it. And he's shown a way of overcoming this, which if this does that, I will do the little update. And the other problem might be that some of the pickups on the back wheel, the back driving wheel, aren't actually hitting. So it's another thing to look at maybe. But I obviously need to get it up on the track. So I'll give you my mug again, I'm afraid, and I'll just okay, everybody. So I obviously would like to run this to make sure it works, but I went up into the loft a little while ago, and I'm not kidding, it's well over 90 degrees up there. We're still having the sun out all the day, although saying that, it's in and out, but it only needs to come out a bit and it heats the loft up. So I'm hoping in the morning, if I get up fairly early and go up there before the sun hits it, I might be able to just try this to see if it runs. I'm only going to do it on the DR5000, not actually on iTrains, and just to see if it runs and the sounds start. And obviously it is a sound fitted loco. Now, I bought this from Rails of Sheffield, and both Rails of Sheffield and Hattons had these, but Rails of Sheffield were cheaper, and I got this for £229.99. So say about 230 quid. And Hattons wanted a little bit more, sort of £10–15 more. So I thought I'd go for this. And I am quite impressed by the way Rails of Sheffield have sorted this. You know, I only ordered it yesterday and here it is. So all we need to do now is hope that it runs. So if I can get up and put a little bit on the end of this video, I will. Well, hello everybody. We have the Prairie running. And I've got it running, as you can see, fairly slowly. I will pan in a bit more. So I don't want to make this too long. But as you can see, at this fairly slow speed, over a curve point there, it's been great. So the only problem I've had is the point that is right behind this post. So let's see. Yes, it stopped again. So yes, it stopped. Now, the previous time it went over, and the time before that it stopped. So I tend to think it's a problem more with the point than with the locomotive. I've tried tightening some of the screws that are holding the point down, and it doesn't seem to make a lot of difference. So something to be investigated, but it's only at this quite slow speed that it does it. Well, hello everybody, you might hear this lot coming. Here we are. If I pan away, there we are, all 15 banana wagons and a guard van at the end. Now, I do have the sound going. Well, I'll just set her off, and I have got some woes, I'm afraid. as you can see. So, it's not all good news. I do have a problem, and I think I'm going to try and do that little bit of work to the back bogey part and see if it makes any difference. And it's been worse on this middle track than it was on the outside track, so you never know, do you? I think it's partly track and partly this bogey, so we'll see how we go. So I'll have a go at that. So thank you for watching, and I am still pleased I got it, and I do like the wagons, the banana wagons. One or two didn't have, one had the coupling missing. It's in the box, not completely, but it wouldn't stay in. It was just would not click in, so I've had to use one of mine. And the two wagons at the end, at one end, they haven't got the actual bar, so it's not too bad, but never mind. That's what we're going to have to do, isn't it? So to start, we need to take that screw where the cocktail stick is, to take the ponytail out, or the pony track out. So, and obviously the screw the other side the same. You just lift up the chassis a bit and it just pops out like that. So it's pretty good. You can see the two little screws there, they're very tiny. So, there we are. Take the coupling off, the whole thing, and then you can get at those two screws, which we need to do to be able to thing. So the one where the cocktail stick is, you need to take that one out and the other one, and then it comes apart basically, and there you are. So wheel comes out, wheel assembly. These two springs are the springs, and we need to take them out, which I'll show you. There we are, those two come out, and we need to deepen this little slot and keep it curved at the bottom, by not very much, but we do need to do it. So I put some masking tape on just to sort of show me where I'm going. Tried to use the round file, that round file there, but it was too fat. You could use the tip of it, which I did, but to go right through I used this sort of flat one, but it's rounded on the edges, but not as round as the little round one. So it worked quite well. So we'll have a look at that when I've done it. There you are, you can see. I did actually go a little bit deeper than my tape, which I'm pleased I did, because I just tried pushing the wheel in and see if it came above the base, which it did. So before it wouldn't go beyond where that cocktail stick is, but once it was done it would go a fraction above, which is what we want. So put it all back again, and then basically we took it up onto the layout in 95-degree temperatures. So I got a bit warm, I must admit. Well, everybody, you've seen the pictures of me doing this modification, and let's see if it works. So I've got the engine coming down this outside track as slow as I've done it before, or even a lot slower actually, as you'll see, and we'll follow it around to this point at this end. If you remember, it near enough always stops here, and I thought it might be the point. So let's see what it does this time, shall we? So by deepening that slot for the axle, it's allowed it to tip up and not take all the wheels off, which is what it was doing before. This is the slowest I think I've run this. Sorry about the lurch. I kicked the tripod. Here we come. Will it stop? I've not tried it at this speed before. not a problem. And the curve point, not a problem either. So I'll put it on the middle track because it was having trouble with that, and I'll get the carriages behind it, or the wagons, shall we? So here we are on the middle track, and it's just coming up to the curve point. This is at speed step 30, believe it or not. It's got the full rake of banana wagons behind. So it's now coming up to the crossover, which it did have trouble with. I think we can safely say that's a result. So I'm going to move to the other end. We go very, very slowly through this station. We'll be coming on the other curve point here. And we also had a little bit of trouble with this level crossing, I believe. Let's have a look. So, I think this is a result, don't you? And I'll put up the name of the chap that put this fix up. Apparently he said he got it from somebody else, but it was his that I saw, and it's not had many views actually, and it was about 2 months ago. So that has completely transformed that loco from something that you think, oh, I can hardly run this, to something that will do that. It's absolutely super. So I hope you don't mind me sticking this big bonus on the end, but I thought it was worth it, and it was a very easy fix, it really was. So cheers everybody, cheers.